Yo, I got to talk about the fight some more, right? Tank Davis is the face of boxing. For those of you who disagree, you might say, well, Ryan wasn't a champion or he didn't fight any champions. Does that necessarily mean you can't be the face of boxing because you beat the guy? If Ryan was a nobody, then why was everybody watching? Why was everybody hyped up about this fight? For a while, it seemed like Jake Paul was the face of boxing, and he wasn't even a legitimate boxer. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to beat a champion to be the face of boxing, but you do have to have appeal. And Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia appeal to the public, whether it's social media or real life. So if you appeal to the public and you get their attention, even casual fans were watching this fight. So if you're a casual and it brings people in, you become the face of boxing, no matter who you fight. If you draw the people in, people equals money, people equals attention. Tank Davis is the face of boxing. Don't try to take his credit from him. And I just got off the phone with the best trainer on earth, James Bashir. You know the resume. If you don't, go look it up. James Bashir is such a great trainer, and I'm not going to tell what he told me because the game is to be sold and not to be told. I'm not going to tell you for free. But he taught me something so deep on the phone that any fighter would have their hands full with me after what he told me. That's how deep it was. Just talking to him on the phone, I learned more in probably a 30-minute conversation that I learned from some trainers, and I was with them for years. That quick. That's how knowledgeable he is. He's been in the game over 50-some years. And I want to talk about these trainers out there with no resumes that everybody's acting like, oh, they're just the cat's meow, as they say. And people just talk about them like they have a track record. You couldn't go from high school to being a CEO of a corporation unless you have a resume. So if these guys don't have a resume, why is everybody putting them on a pedestal like, man, they're just really doing it? You know, if a coach comes along and coaches Tom Brady once he's already won 4 Super Bowls, is the coach a genius or is Tom Brady the genius? That's what's happening with these social media people. You see these trainers that come out of nowhere and they attach themselves to a big name like a Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, whoever, a Klitschko, and they win a fight or two, and you say he's a great trainer. Okay, but that fighter already had a track record, and also, how did the fighter look under that trainer? Was the fighter appealing? Did he close the show? Or was it a snooze fest? You have to look at all these factors. You have to be a teacher. You can't just be a trainer. You can't just go in there and tell your fighter, run 5 miles. I want you to skip rope for 4 hours. I want you to eat grapes and do a couple pull-ups. No, that's the training aspect. But what are you teaching them in the ring? And I want to see my dude, James Bashir, get his props. He needs to get his props. And any of you fighters out there that aren't blowing up his phone, it makes no sense. All you guys should be blowing up his phone. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you what he told me, but he taught me something that I could do in the ring that would literally make my opponents want to go work at Wendy's, put it like that. Especially if you can punch. If you can punch and apply what Mr. James Bashir just told me, man. I would love to spar with some of you YouTube boxing channels. I would love it. And some of you fanboys that like to run your mouths and all that, I would just love to implement what he taught me. He was literally getting me excited on the phone. That's how much knowledge. James Bashir has more boxing knowledge in his pinky finger than most of these guys have in their whole bodies. Most of what these guys know, I could fit in one hand and have 4 fingers left over. James Bashir is that great of a trainer. He was under the great Emanuel Steward, who's considered the best trainer of all time. If he worked under him, why would you not want James Bashir? They were best friends, I believe. They worked at the Kronk together. They were in camps with Lennox Lewis. I believe even Ali. They've been camps with all, you name it. If it's a fighter and you know his name, James Bashir was probably with him and taught them something. He was with Alexander Usyk for 3 years when he was cruiserweight champion. Man. And it's kind of frustrating to watch all these trainers get accolades that they don't deserve because, you know, they attach themselves to a fighter with the name. Build them from the grassroots. Build them all the way up. And then maybe it won't be so frustrating. But don't just latch yourself onto a Tom Brady and think you're going to get props from me, because it's not going to happen. James Bashir is the best trainer in the world, and I'm not just saying that because we talk. And I met him way back at the Lennox Lewis Klitschko fight, and we linked up in the last couple years. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not biased. I'm just telling you what it is. If you were to let James Bashir train you, your knowledge would go from wherever it's at to off the charts. And he doesn't do a lot of cliche-ish stuff, you know. He's not one of these guys that just is going to do something because the next man said to do it or it's the popular thing to do. If James Bashir implements a program for you, he's going to tailor make it for you. And it's not going to be some cookie cutter thing like, well, I heard you should do this. He's going to see what works and apply it. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Tank Davis is the face of boxing. I would say the next best in the division would probably be Shakur Stevenson. Don't sleep on Lomachenko. Devin Haney, to me, he's just, I can't, like I always say, I can't watch anymore Devin Haney fights. It doesn't do it for me. But James Bashir, if you guys aren't blowing up his phone, there's something seriously wrong. Anyway, it's the J. Roos Theory. Make sure to comment, share, subscribe. LSR forever. And be fearless. Yay.